going on, guys? Got a pretty cool video for you today. I think it should be pretty interesting. I've kind of been thinking about doing this one for a while. I've been kind of excited about it because, I live in Akron. I figured I needed to take advantage of this and do a video on this abandoned highway while I still live here, because if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm looking to move soon. So I figured I better get out and do this riding season, because if you're from the Midwest, you know that once it gets to like Labor Day, that's basically the unofficial end of summer. So, and it is Labor Day weekend at this point. But anyways, I think I'm going to end up taking the 636 today for a couple reasons. One is because it's been having some issues with overheating. I want to see if it's still doing that after I tried fixing something. And two, the tires on this thing are way cheaper than the tires on that. So, just in case I run over anything while I'm kind of riding where I'm not supposed to be, I'd rather pop one of these tires than one of those Pirellis. You guys know how it is. Also, while I'm out here, I think I mentioned in another of my videos that I had a new bike. Well, here it is. Right there. And right there. This is my 2009 ZX6R. I'm going to be doing some videos over the winter, probably like assembly tutorials and whatnot, and just overall just showing the build. And the process of it going from some junk that I got on Facebook Marketplace that someone didn't want to give love, and then we'll turn it into something like this bike, because actually I did the same thing with this bike. I bought it in boxes and buckets of parts and was able to turn it into this. So I guess let's get going. I'm gonna probably shut this off and start it when I'm on the one highway, because you'll understand later. It's important to this video. Alright guys, I wanted to come to this gas station here to start the video because this gas station is right off one of the highways that I'm going to be referencing later. So I figured I would start here and make my way to the other highway that I'm also going to be referencing later. Also, if you guys, you probably put two and two together by now by the title of the video, because I'm sure it's going to be something like riding on an abandoned highway, something along those lines. Hopefully you can still kind of hear me right now, but anyways, like I was saying, by the video title, we're going to explore an abandoned highway today. So I wanted to start on this highway, and this is State Route 8 here in Ohio. It basically kind of starts in downtown Akron and runs up north quite a ways. I think we want to take this exit. So now keep this in mind, that this highway is here. Right now we're getting off, we're going to ride through sort of downtown a little bit, downtown Akron here. And we're going to make our way over to the abandoned highway, which is known as the Innerbelt. So while we're heading over there, I'll give a little backstory. The Innerbelt was initially proposed in, I believe, 1960. Construction didn't start for a while after that because they had to acquire a bunch of land and whatnot. But it was proposed in 1960, and its purpose was supposed to be to connect State Route 8, which we were just on, to the other major interstates here, 76, 77. And I'll see if I could throw up like one of the old architectural drawings that I found, kind of like showing the intended path. But essentially, this never happened. It never got finished. It was ultimately a huge failure, and now part of it is abandoned. So we're actually coming up on it right now. This is part of it that was kind of built after it got decommissioned. And you can see right over here, this is actually it. So we're gonna try to go down there. No one really behind me. Also, side note, this has been running much cooler for now. I flushed the radiator out and tried to bleed the system, make sure there are no air bubbles in it. And you know, so far, I don't want to speak too soon, but so far it's running cooler. Because I was running at like, I think, average 220, 230. Alright, we gotta kind of speed up over here because we gotta do some sketchy shit. There we go. Alright. Get away from the main road here, just in case. Because I'm not sure the legalities of this. Alright. Real quick, I'll pull off under this bridge here. I'm gonna keep my bike pointed back towards where I came from, just in case. It's always a good idea for us motorcycle riders to position your bike in a way where you can escape should you need to. I hear music and I don't know where it's coming from. It's pretty. While I'm here, I gotta get a thumbnail picture because this is pretty cool looking with the graffiti there in the background. I mean, just cool pictures in general, even if I don't use these for the thumbnail. I think that's pretty sweet though. And there's the big city of Akron in the background there. Anyways, I was going to talk about this Innerbelt bridge and why it is the way it is today. I think I mentioned they originally proposed it in the 1960s, and then they started acquiring land in the 60s, late 60s and 70s. And basically they got all this land that was predominantly African American owned homes and property, and they were paying between $5,000 and $15,000 back in the late 60s, 70s. Someone can do the math and calculate what that would equate to in today's dollars, but I can tell you it's definitely a lot more, but still not a whole lot. So anyways, they started acquiring all this land, because this used to all be houses here, and I believe it was somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 homes in total that were demolished to build this failed highway. There's some really loud music up there, and I'm really hoping that it's live music and it doesn't get me copyrighted. So I'm going to try to just keep talking so I talk over it. So the next thing I was going to say is that construction started for the Innerbelt here in 1970, and then it was completed by 1972 for the first phase. So the second phase then began in 1975 and was completed in 1980. And I think I already mentioned that the first two phases, which is all that ended up getting built, it resulted in the demolition of somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 homes, which were predominantly owned by African Americans. So the construction of this was very controversial. You could read more if you're interested into kind of like what was happening at the time. I'm not going to get into that. I just kind of want to talk about the highway itself in this video. So now we got the first two phases built, and it kind of was like basically this section here that I'm on. The final phase was started in 1987, and the purpose of this phase was going to be to actually connect this to the major highways of 76 and 77, which I think I alluded to earlier in the video. So the plan was for it to come from Route 8, which is over in that direction, and kind of be like a quick, efficient way to access stuff in downtown Akron. And then obviously same thing from 76 and 77 over there, which we'll ride to after I talk about a couple more things that I wanted to touch on. This is like collapsing right here a little bit. That's probably not good because this bridge is still used. Anyways, this highway was seen as a major failure because it was designed, I mean, you could see here we're 1, 2, 3, I think 4 lanes in most parts, 4 lanes wide, and it was designed for 120,000 vehicles per day. It didn't even see anywhere close to this. I believe the number of vehicles it actually saw per day was around 18,000, so they were nowhere close. This was significantly oversized and ultimately a massive failure. Okay, we're gonna try to not step on all the clothes and stuff. A pair of pants. Where do you go without your pants? Like, what happened? I have questions and I'm not sure I want them answered. Oh, alright. I think we will go ride around a little bit more. So, a couple other things before I start this up. Basically, this was a huge failure, and in 1999, the current mayor, or I guess at the time the mayor of Akron, originally suggested demolishing it because it was like it served no real purpose and was a failure, and nothing happened for a while, but he kind of like set the stage and got everyone thinking. And then actually, if we fast forward to 2014, demolition, they made a proposal and did some planning and decided that they were gonna decommission part of it, which is the part that we're on right now. So construction, or I guess technically demolition in this case, demolition for this section of the Innerbelt began in 2016 and was completed in 2017. Basically, they kind of built a couple roads down that way that we came in on them. If you guys remember earlier in the video, because this kind of just like ends down there now. But they built that, completely abandoned this section, and this part over here is still used. So we're gonna go ahead and ride that section where it ties back into Highway 76 and 77. And I feel like before I get out of here for good, I need to do a little more exploring on the bike. Although I am a little nervous because there's music up there and it sounds like it's live music, which probably means there's a lot of people up there. So I'm going to try to make this quick before anyone realizes I'm here. This is so weird though, just riding on a completely abandoned road. And this was built like a long time ago too. I mean, it's 2024 now. I think it started construction, I think I said in like the 70s or something. So, it's pretty old. Pretty cool though. And also kind of weird that all this is just left abandoned here. You got grass growing up through the middle of it and stuff. Very creepy. So if I keep going down that way, I'm going to run into the roads that they built to kind of take the place of this. But I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to actually turn around here and head back in the other direction because I want to ride over to 76 and 77. I'm also probably gonna have to come back here once I really get good at wheelies and stuff, because like, I mean, how cool of a spot would this be for like a little cinematic edit, just doing some circles under this bridge on a freaking abandoned highway. How cool is that? Maybe it's just cool to me because I'm a nerd, but I don't know. I'm sure someone else finds it cool. Hopefully there's no traffic coming down this, because they would be very confused to just see someone coming off an abandoned highway. Oh, there's another bike. Alright, we're gonna hop over here. And with that, we are back on the piece of the Innerbelt that is still a road. I try to use this as much as I can. Like sometimes on my way to work, I'll take this route because it's cool and it's here, and there's never any traffic on it either. Because like I said before, it was a huge failure. Should we see what the 636 has got? By the way, the speed that this shows is not correct. My speedometer is off because I have this thing geared down for stunt riding. So now we're coming on the ramp that leads this into 76 and 77. Oh, which they have all torn up. Not good. Originally, the Innerbelt was supposed to start at the highway that I was originally on, Route 8, and it was supposed to tie into this with a bunch of exits all throughout Akron. The thought was basically just to make it more efficient to get into downtown, but when a lot of the rubber companies moved out of here and the jobs started going away,
there was really no point for it, which unfortunately that happened around the time that the Innerbelt was built. Alright, so I'm just going to get off here because this is not a highway bike at all. Alright guys, well, I think I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully you thought this was interesting and, you know, something different that you don't see on a lot of other motorcycle channels. If you liked it, leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess dislike it too. Leave some comments if you got anything to say about it. Just really appreciate engagement on these things. It'll definitely kind of keep me motivated to keep making more. And there are a couple other pretty cool, like, old things here in Akron that I'm going to try to explore and do videos on before I end up moving. So stay tuned for those. But anyway guys, I appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. Check out my other stuff if you're interested, and I will catch you guys later. See ya.